Shalom, shalom, and shalom. Welcome back to another Tuesday lesson. First and foremost, we want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We do so by way of his only begotten Son, who is an instrument of salvation for the nation, right? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Which nation is that, by the way? The nation of the Israelites, man. A lot of people have forgotten about the Israelites. Even the Israelites have forgotten about the Israelites. But today we're going to talk a little bit about um, kind of reclaiming the zeal that we had, that we're supposed to have for our nation. Give me 1 second here. Let's see something. Alrighty. Let me go ahead and share my screen. We'll get this blowing of the shofar. And we like to do this to, it's like I like to say, dispatch angels, get the Most High's attention, let them know that we want them to be with us on this lesson for the edification of you guys and for ourselves, right? So you guys let me know if you can hear this. All right. Con. The title of today's lesson, man, is called The World Cup of Confusion. The World Cup of Confusion, right? We're going to be highlighting a few things, but mostly we're going to be looking into what's going on in the world today, which is fairly big right now, the World Cup, right? Football, or soccer, as you like to call it here in the States, right? Um, the World Cup is a big deal to a lot of people. It's a big thing for a lot of countries, right? And they hang their hats on that, right? We'll dive into a little bit today. I got a few videos that I'm gonna play, like 4 of them. So y'all bear with me, man. And we're gonna get into the first one. And I just want to play these videos, man, just to for you guys to get a visual for this lesson of what I mean when I say we got to be come back to having a zeal for our nation, right? Just and we'll comment on a few things here and there in these video clips, and they're not long video clips by any means, but just want you guys to get a visual. I want to say shout out to the brother B Gilmore, B More, right? G More, right? I don't know what nickname he likes to say, man, but he did a lesson similar to this, but he was going into football fans and stuff like that, right? We're gonna get into what these World Cup fans look like today, though, right? Let's see. So I want you guys just to pay attention to how all of these people, I'm gonna rewind that one more time, man, how all these people are on one accord, man. How all these people are on one accord, unified, in rhythm, right? All know why they're there and what they're there for. And has the same spirit on them at this time, right? And you see how all of them were in unison with that little rolling, whatever they want to call it, right? The theatrics right there. You see how everybody was in unison? It's crazy they can get that many people in unison, but we can't even get we can't even get people to be in unison for feast days or camp, to show up on time at camp, right? To be consistent in reading, to be consistent in teaching. We can't even get people to be consistent in that, but they can get the whole stadium to be on one accord with the rowing, right? It's crazy. first video, man, you just see, man, how each country has thousands of fans, right?
So
All
Lucky,
on the same time. Go ahead.
so Lucky too, a little bit off topic, but on topic. I like the when the World Cup comes around and things like the Olympics and stuff come around because it'll let you know that America is not the only country in the world. I know a lot of these movies, when it's the end of the world, they like to see America getting bombed and stuff like that, and being consumed. You would think the only places on Earth are America and Africa and China, but as you see, man, they got everywhere from Brazil to Norway to Egypt to uh, Portugal to Armenia. They got all these different countries in the world coming for the World Cup. And the thing is, uh, when Babylon's destroyed or when America's destroyed, right? It's talking prophecy here. These other countries are still going to be out there. So it's not going to be the end of time, right? But they're going to see the destruction of this place, like it says in Revelation 18, like it says in Jeremiah 50 and Jeremiah 51. They're going to see the destruction of this place. And we want to be able to see it as well, right? But I just find it funny that we're hosting it at our 250-year anniversary. We're hosting all the world, right? We're hosting all the world, and they've all have drinking out of the cup of Babylon.
Right.
And
That's why I title it the World Cup of Confusion. Because what does Babylon even mean?
confusion.
God, man. And you can't make this stuff up. Like the brother said, we hosting it here in the Americas, man. And I know it's just not America, the United States of America. It's the whole North America and South America too. Because I think some games were played in Mexico, some games were played in Canada, but ultimately everybody's more focused on the games here in United States, and people are loving it, the fact that it's here in the United States, right? I'm sure all these other countries, they're ecstatic to leave their country and come here, right? They get to check out, man, because they know that in America they can do whatever, they can say whatever, they can, and it's a change of pace for them, man. I bet you it's all a facade, we know, but I bet you they all feel a little bit more free when they touch down here at the U.S. soil, man, just because they know this is the land of confusion and chaos, man, where anything goes, right?
And I bet you a lot of them aren't going home after the World Cup. I bet you a lot of them will stay right here illegally.
Right, right. All right, I want to share another video, man, just to show you how these fans are, man. These are our brothers, the who people believe to be the Issacharites. This is Mexico, right? It says Mexico fans celebrate rain or shine, right? That makes me happy. You know what that makes me happy? It makes me happy because seeing them celebrate in the rain, all of them drenched with sweat, right? It makes me happy to know that we take it upon ourselves to uphold the same enthusiasm in our organization. There's a lot of camps out there that don't. They, it start raining, they say, man, nah. But you can go on record and see the hopeful elect just as drenched, reading the Bible, amped for the Lord, right? You go see the hopeful elect in the freezing cold, right? In the blazing heat.
So
That's one reason why I'm glad, is because when I see that stuff, I don't get disheartened like, dang, man, we should be going harder. We should be going like that. If they're going crazy like that for a soccer game. The crazy part is too, we'll be out there in the pouring rain for the Lord, and people will look at us crazy, like, man, y'all doing too much. You don't need to do all that. But when they see stuff like this for a soccer game, they're like, yeah, man, y'all keep going, right?
yeah, so they'll even be like, man, I wish I could be out there right now. I'm at work. I wish I could be out there in the rain. But like you said, they'll see even videos of us outside in the rain, or they'll see us, in their cars, and they're like, man, they're crazy. They're doing too much. right? But they would want to be out there celebrating. And that's the thing, man. When you was in the world, man, you would want to do a lot of crazy stuff. You didn't care how hot it was. You still going to Coachella. You still going to all these different events. You ready to pass out at Panama City Beach. But let it get too hot, let it rain, let it, oh, for the Lord, oh, you can make all the excuses in the world just to go, take a chill pill and sit out.
Right, man. It's funny, man. Brothers see a little bit of forecast on the on the radar, and they quick to cancel camp, feast days, all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I can remember in the world, man. When I was in the world, I can remember there was days where the Fourth of July came, or where they do fireworks and all of that. There were days where the Fourth of July would come, and everybody back then, everybody would go to the military base, and look at the fireworks, and it'd be thousands of people out there. I remember there'd be days where it was about to rain, in our whole family, man. Right? We didn't give a dang. We saw it we said we still going. We still putting on our clothes, getting in the car, getting our lawn chairs ready, all that stuff, still headed there, right? Because we didn't care, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's the
Not
same.
only that, weather don't stop people from going to like theme parks and stuff. People bring their ponchos and umbrellas and still want to go to the theme park. In the world, we do a lot of crazy things, and we don't let nothing be an excuse for us not to enjoy it.
And the factor that brings them together is the fact that they all have one common relation to that country. You know what I'm saying? They all have some type of sentimental fortitude that brings them together for their country. And it's just sad to see that we don't have that as Israelites. Yeah, I was gonna do a lesson today, and I was gonna title it "Make Israelites Cool Again," right? Because for some reason, man, to be an Israelite is not cool right now, right? Some people, is the vibe I get in the quote unquote Israelite community is the fact is kind of like, what's the point, right? That's the vibe I kind of get, man. You got brothers that want to wear their fringes, but people, I feel like in their back of their mind, they're like, man, what's the point, man? The whole community has gone to trash. But I remember the days where there was massive unity camps where you can look out, and we was, in numbers so much we was clogging the streets and stuff like that, right? I remember that IUIC wasn't the only time to see a big gathering of Israelites wasn't to go see IUIC, right? Back when we had legit unity camps, right? And everybody was on the same one accord, sounding like World Cup fans, right? With their staffs and everybody banging them, come on, right? With everybody, and so many people had the shofars and all of that, right? That's almost extinct right now, right? And I just want that to come back, right? Because we can band together to go all out for the World Cup like this, man, and to see that we don't have the same zeal and power for our who we are as Israelites and the Most High is disheartening. I got a couple more videos, man.
Come on, man, we gotta not only make Israelites cool again, we gotta make the truth fun again, man. Bring the excitement back again. Because at one point in time, male and female, life gets in the way a little bit, but everybody was excited when they first came in the truth. They was excited to do a feast day, or excited to go to a camp, or excited to go to a congregation service. Like, they was excited to watch lessons, that the new lesson that's gonna drop. They was excited. And nowadays, man, everybody not excited. What's going on? Are we getting beat down too much? Is it getting boring? We're not getting the fame that we thought we was gonna get. Is it not? Is prophecy not happening fast enough? Come on now. Why are we not excited? You know what I'm saying? And that's why we haven't done it in a while, but that's why we usually like to go and visit other Israelite organizations, because we like seeing the smiles on brothers' faces when you just randomly pull up. We like being there and having a good time with other Israelites, bro. It seems like that's not happening no more, right? For whatever reason. Everybody can't trust each other. Everybody don't want to trust each other. Everybody wants to pretend to be something they're not. So now they're uncomfortable with each other. man, we just got to get back to when we first came into the truth and we were excited to have a heritage and a culture and something to beat our staffs.
One thing that's funny about this, and we'll get into it in the thing, but just looking at all these World Cup fans, man, they don't all have the same beliefs, same mind, whatever, but they all out there for their country. They're all out there for their heritage, right? The heritage that they believe belongs to them. You know what I'm saying? And we can be the same way as Israelites. We get into this to that spirit of can two walk together unless they agree, and we start to take that extremely literal, right? Not realizing like we can be Israelites and still afford and we can still, be able to afford to be in the same room and not say like, I don't agree with this person's thinking on 100%, right? But I'm with this brother, right? We see that going on with the World Cup fans, right? Because they're tied to a heritage, not because they all think the same, but because they're tied to a heritage and there's a love and there's a foundation of empowerment behind that, and that's something that we can achieve too. But the thing about Israelites, man, blacks, Hispanics, and we're very prideful, we're very stubborn, man, and we won't let our pride and our stubborn go to fellowship with each other, right? We always want to demonize somebody and big up ourselves, right? And that type of mindset, man, will always be just like this, divided. But I got two more videos, man. I want to get into how emotional these fans can get. Right? The title says Cape Verde's dream run ends. Their dream run ends. Right? They had a good little run. My bad. And you would think that the run that they're talking about is the run to the kingdom. But it's not. It's talking about just a game of soccer. And this is how emotional they get from losing a soccer game. The man getting consoled by his child and his wife, right? Because of soccer game.
What is talking
You
about
said what?
some moments are bigger than the World Cup. How is it bigger than the World Cup, bro? All it is the World Cup.
Right, man.
Moments are bigger than the World Cup.
This is how we should be when a brother falls out the truth, man. We should all be getting together and looking like this right here, bro. When somebody leave your camp, bro, and go back to the world, we should be looking like this, bro. You know what I'm saying? We should all get together, man. Like, damn, brother, we really lost one. We should be breaking down crying like this, man. That's how much we should love each other. That's how much we should love our nation. All right. I got one more video.
Well, that's so hard to fathom. Brothers is not acting like that over another brother, boy.
Brother leave your camp is good riddance, man. Kick rocks.
Brother's liable to make a video on you.
Right. We don't need you. Stay where you at.
Right. Instead of telling the brother they miss them or like, bro, why you're not even compelling him to come back, bro? Like he don't, man, y'all. To him, he's like, man, y'all never really loved me for real because as soon as he gone, like just come out and say you missed the brother's presence, man. Y'all don't gotta make a whole video and slander the brother and all that, man. Just be honest. And that's one thing that we can't do in this nation is be honest with each other.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And then when you see the brother out and about, man, you want to give him all these evil stares and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be different, man. We gotta be different. Even when their team loses, man, it's they don't get hate from their fans. Oh, y'all lost it for us, man. Kill them. Tell them to kick rocks. No, bruh. Like we just seen, man, they can lose a game and still trust that their fans and their family will console them and still love them, bro. When we take a loss, bro, it's terrible, bro. Whether somebody leave your camp, whether you find out your leader is getting exposed, whether or not somebody's getting divorced, whether or not whatever. We take a loss, bro, man. Our community just it's like we take one loss and about 10 people leave with that loss, right? And it shouldn't be like that. Right here, this is, if this is Jude Bellingham, right? Star player for England. This is his reaction after the final whistle blows when they played Mexico, right? And they won. This is his reaction.
Yeah. You would thought that these dudes is in the 144K and they just got the kingdom back, bro.
That's what I was just saying, man. The reaction is like he was just like the pearly gates was about to close and he just made it in. He was running with all his might and he just made it in, man. Right? That's how he's reacting right now, man. You know how much adrenaline, how much emotion has to overcome your body, right? He was locked in the whole time until he heard these last 3 whistles, and this is what happened. Yeah, he lost all, bro. You ever read like Ezra or Job or somebody in the presence of the Lord and they lose all bodily function, bro, and they just fall to the ground?
Brought a grown man to his knees.
That's what just happened right here, bro.
That's not even a championship game, bro.
It's not. He's still got like 2 rounds to go. You know what I'm saying? It brought him to his knees, man. But again, man, that's how we got to be for the Lord. That's how we got to be for each other. When
it seemed like Jake is all over these World Cup games this year. Like it seemed like Jake is.
We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that, man. Right? But look at it. So hard. You know how much emotion and adrenaline got to go through your body for you to be
sobbing.
You know what I'm saying? Like that? That's crazy, man. But that's how we got to be for each other, man. When we, again, man, it's hard to fathom, but when we see somebody come into the truth, right? It should make us emotional like that. To see somebody come from out of the world into the truth and now they teaching it, bro. We take for granted that transition in somebody's life. But that's a mighty transition, man, to see somebody that was just doing a folly and now they out on the street corners teaching other people what they've been taught, man. It's a mighty transition. That don't happen overnight. That don't happen just to anybody, right? There's a lot of people in the truth that still don't go out and preach the word. You know what I'm saying? So like, we got to make note of that. And, we got to start, I'm not saying break down and, cry and all that, but we got to start showing some type of emotion and support for our people, because that's what's going to keep them around, right? A lot of times we get into that thing, oh, he teaching now, good for that brother, right? But you ain't going to tell him congratulations. You ain't going to tell him, hey, bro, I see you. None of that. You just going to let him keep doing what he doing, man. Right. And all along, he just wants somebody to notice that, he changed his life, and then, enough brothers get to hating on him. Then he's like, man, I'm gonna put this down, man. It's right. Not
he thinking, I thought this is what y'all wanted. I thought y'all wanted me to grow into this, bro. Y'all all hating on me now. Brother, y'all told me when I stopped and y'all told me, y'all said I should be on that side with y'all. Now I'm on the side with y'all. Y'all all hating on me.
Right. So we got to show some more support towards each other, man. Let's get into some scriptures, though. Let's get into some scriptures. Let me see. See if I can. Should be on the tab, bro. Ooh. There we go. All right, this is Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12. We're going to start at let's start at verse 10.
Romans chapter 12 and verse 10. Be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love, and honor, preferring one another.
Bro, as Israelites, man, this is how we got to be. You got to put yourself in the mindset of a World Cup fan. That's what you are for the Israelites. Imagine if the Israelites had a soccer team that was in the World Cup, right? We were chosen to be the fans of said team. We would go out sad, bro. You know how the state of our community right now, we would go out so sad if we had an Israelite soccer team in the World Cup. Nobody would show up for the game because so-and-so was playing. And I don't stand with that. Right? But likewise, like the World Cup, like I said, man, these folks out here, they don't all think the same. They don't all believe the same, but they all out there because they share a heritage, because they all believe that they're related, right? Because they all believe that they're family, right? We got to do the same thing. So it's to be kindly affection one to another. We were just talking about that with brotherly love. That's how you show brotherly love, man, right? You support each other, right? You're there for each other. And you don't treat each other as if like, man, I could give or take you, bro. I could leave or take you. Now we should always have that feeling like, man, we don't want you to leave. And sometimes we got to check ourselves, right? I know we kind of set a little precedent about ourselves, like, man, we not recruiting nobody. You know, if they want to come, they can come. But sometimes it's okay to recruit people, man, because we want them to be where we are, sincerely, you know. Verse 11.
Verse 11, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord.
Right. Not sloth. You think these folks out here that are World Cup fans are slothful, bro? No, they're not, bro. They getting all the gear, right? They at these places on time. Bro, you've seen all these fans and stuff and clogging up the streets and all that stuff, bro. You know, somebody had to pick a time, and all them thousands of people had to be in the middle of the street at the same time, bro. You know what I'm saying? They're not slothful in business, and they're very fervent in spirit. They have a zeal about them. We have to have a zeal about us, man. We got to be there when it counts, like they are. The fans got to be there when it counts, right? When their team's playing, they have to be there. If not, it's probably not going to go well for them. They ain't got no support. We have to be there when it counts too, right? At camp, at feast days, showing, like the brother was saying, pulling up on brothers, right? When you know a brother got an event, you know a brother is doing something, you know, that he's trying to get up off the ground or something like that. We got to be there for each other, right? Especially in that, and what I'm getting at is of course you can do it recreationally too, right? But what I'm getting at is when it comes to serving the Lord, you know your brother, your sister is doing something for the Lord. You're supposed to be there when it counts, right? Verse number 12.
Verse 12, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer.
Right, rejoicing in hope, man. All these World Cup fans, man, they are so strong because they have a hope that they can win it all. Right? That they can win it all. They're patient in tribulation. When it looks Argentina played today, they was down 2-0. Y'all know who Lionel Messi is, right? His team was down 2-0. But their fans was patient while they was going through that tribulation. And they ended up winning 3-2. They came back. 3-2 in a soccer game is crazy. While they was down 2-0, right? But they was patient in tribulation. Why? Because all them fans was continually in instant prayer together, right? You see what happens first with a country when they're focused and laser focused on a goal that's folly, and their support can help boost the morale for that team to win. How much more us when we're constant prayer for each other, but we're not. We only pray for ourselves. We might pray for those of our family, like our wife and our kids, but we don't pray for nobody else for real, right? At least in the church, they took down what is it called? Prayer requests. When's the last time Israelites got together and they said, hey, anybody got any prayer requests? I ain't never seen that. I ain't never seen it. Right? But we got to start doing these things, man. Colossians 3:23.
Colossians 3:23. And whatsoever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men.
Right, man. And we got to understand that we're fans. They're not fans, right? When you see these World Cup fans, like for Mexico, Norway, England, right? Argentina, they're not fan. Sure, they like the fact that Lionel Messi's on the team, Jude Bellingham's on the team, right? Cristiano Ronaldo's on the team. They like that, but they're not fans of those men at that moment. They're fans of their heritage. They're fans of their country. They would still be screaming loud even if Lionel Messi got hurt. Their team was still playing. They're still going to be there. So in the same way we should be. We shouldn't be doing this for Chief so-and-so to notice me. Shouldn't do this for Bishop so-and-so to notice me, right? Captain so-and-so to notice me. We should be doing this wholeheartedly for the Lord to notice us, right? And I think we read this the other night, yesterday, right? We're going to read this too, Revelation 3:15.
Revelation 3:15. It says, I know thy works. Thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot.
Right, man. The Most High, he would rather us be cold or hot. A lot of us teeter in the line, right? I'm going to be honest with you, man. A lot of us are already cold. But one thing I will say, man, when you watch these World Cup fans, bro, they're not cold at all. They have chosen their side, right? They're loud about it, right? To the point where, hey, man, if I'm led to believe you in a Mexican household and Mexico's playing, bro, and you not locked in, bro, they might disown you, bro. Right? That's how hot they are for their heritage, for their country. Go ahead, brother O.
Cause I was gonna say, even when you think about some of these NFL teams, like they be out there in the cold when it's snowing with their shirts off. You see like a Chicago Bears fan or a Packers fan, when it's real cold and it's snowing, they out there. A Bills fan, they out there with their shirts off in the snow, rooting
Right.
for a team that don't even, the players that don't even know them, that
Right.
they would never know their name, but they going so hard for this team. That's
Right,
crazy.
man. And you know, the beginning of this verse says, I know thy works, right? When you see somebody in the snow with their shirt off, right? You don't have to question, you know, if they're down for the cause. You know what I'm saying? When you see Israelites like us out in the rain, you know, reading our Bibles, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to question if we down for this cause, right? You know, I would hope somebody wouldn't be out here rain, sleet, or snow preaching this word and not really be in it, you know? Usually when that happens, man, you can tell who's not really in it because they're the first ones trying to find some shelter, right? While the brother's still going, everybody else spirit is at ease, even in the rain. Like we here, we ain't going nowhere. You see that one brother, man, he already under the shade, he already under the shelter, man, right? So your works have to show. Your works have to show that you're hot or cold, right? It's not no, oh, he knows my heart, right? Your works have to show whether you are hot or cold, right? It's not, oh, I don't wear my fringes, but I got my fringes on my heart. No, your works have to show whether you're hot or you're cold, right? You can't go to the Mexico game where everybody got on a Mexico jersey or Mexico colors, right? And you ain't got no Mexico colors and people looking like, bro, what you doing? It's all right, Mexico's on my heart. No, your works have to show whether you're hot or cold.
You know, a lot of times people to this day, they say stuff like, you know, I haven't been myself. I feel like I'm not on fire. I got to get my fire back. Things of that. Feelings come and go. Works stay the same. That's why he's measuring you by your works, not your feelings. Because even though if you feel like your fire is not there, if you still doing the stuff that you were doing when your fire was there, that's what he can judge you based off of. He's not judging you based off of feelings. You're gonna feel different every season of your life. Every other day, pretty much, you feeling different, right? But your works gotta remain the same. Your works gotta be what determines if you're hot or cold, not your feelings.
Right, man. And and ultimately it's what's in you, bro. Right? You got these diehard sports fans, even if they're feeling down, they're sick or whatever, right? They team playing. They best believe they in the bed, stuffy nose with a bowl of chili and that game on, and they watching it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's gonna stop them from the love that they have in their heart for that team. And you sadly to say, as an Israelite community, we get sick, we get down under the weather or whatever. You know, the last thing we want to do is open our Bible. The last thing we want to do is wondering what our bodies got going on or tuning into the lesson. I'm feeling bad. I'm gonna sit this one out. I'm not even throwing no shots at nobody, bro. I'm not throwing no shots at nobody. But we gotta examine ourselves, right? Go ahead, brother O.
I was gonna say, man, you gotta think about the Dallas Cowboy fans. They ain't won nothing since like the 90s, and they fans still they fans be so loyal every year. They get disappointed every year, and they still coming back the next year, still diehard Cowboy fans. The reason why I say that because the Cowboys had a run like in the 90s, when it came like the Super Bowl wins and things like that. So they still holding on to we still got a chance to become the old Cowboys like we used to be. But it ain't happening. But they still stay faithful to their team, no matter the record, no matter how it's looking.
Come on, man. It's a mighty point. No matter how it's looking. The Israelite community looking terrible right now. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of exposés are happening. But no matter how it's looking, man, I'm still a fan of the Israelites, though. That's my team. Right? No matter how it's looking, man. Right? This is 1 Corinthians chapter 9. We start at verse 23. Things back on you guys right here.
1 Corinthians chapter 9, starting at verse 23. And this I do for the gospel's sake, that I might be partaker thereof with you.
He said, and this I do for the gospel's sake, man. Y'all got to understand that a lot of stuff that we do is for the gospel. If you don't know what the gospel is, I encourage you to go to Isaiah, go to Luke and read about it, man. Right? Everything you do should be to help those people in the gospel, man, that can't help themselves. Right? Keep reading.
Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize. So run that ye may obtain.
You need to run like there's only one person getting into the kingdom, bro. That's really how he wants you to act. When he says seek him 10 times harder, all that stuff, he wants you to run this race, man, of the spiritual race, as if only one person can win, right? He wants you to bust your tail like that. And it gets better, man, going into the lesson right now, verse 25.
And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible.
Man, these people, they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, a corruptible trophy, the World Cup trophy. They do all of this crazy stuff for a corruptible crown, but we are doing it for an incorruptible crown, right? And we acting like we don't care. They doing all that for something that's corruptible, and we're trying to obtain something that's incorruptible, that's everlasting, right? And we have a nonchalant attitude about ourselves, man. Right, man. Those people will wear their jerseys to work. Those people will wear their team on their tie at work, right? But you're afraid to wear your fringes at work, right? Shows me what type of fan you are, what team you playing for, right? Your works are showing me that you are very cold. You're not a real fan, man. You tell somebody you're not a real fan in sports, bro, they legit get mad at you. You ain't no real Laker fan. What you mean I ain't no Laker fan? Right? They get amplified about that stuff, right?
You know, they my team.
Somebody tell you you don't really like this Israelite stuff. If you say so, bro, I know myself though. You ain't got no fringes on, bro. What is that? That don't have to do with anything. Come on, bro. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, man. Even when it comes to these rappers, bro, you got young boy got the most delusional fans in the world, but they will go up and down, toe to toe with you when it comes to young boy about how he the best rapper alive. They'll take it very seriously. And young boy don't even know them. but yet they going so hard for this human being.
Right.
That's how we gotta be for the Lord, though, man.
So like you too, you know, I seen somebody post, and they have a podcast, and one of the things they posted on their channel one day was that, you know, as a grown man, there's no reason you should be wearing another grown man's last name on yourself, on your body, right? And that's pretty much talking about jerseys. And they was saying, like, you got to think, bruh, y'all be sitting up here calling yourself fans of the sport, but you're literally, you know, you're literally like, as a man, you got to look in the mirror and say, dang, am I really, you know, like going all out for another man? You know, he was kind of bringing it from the angle of how it looks in the eyes of your wife and children. You know what I'm saying? If you got a girl, you know, that's something that he pays a closer attention to than most people don't. But it's one of them things, like the brother Obadiah was just saying, in the world of sports, even with the World Cup, it's too many times we see people glorifying these men, glorifying these games, and we don't do the same thing when it comes to, you know, our relationship with the Lord.
Come on, man. Come on. Mighty point. It's Matthew 28:19. Like, so, and to you know, just to land back on that, man. People worry about, you know, getting that Lionel Messi jersey or whatever, right? And you need to be worrying about putting the Most High's name on you. You know what I'm saying? Or the Most High putting His name on you. That's what you need to be worried about. But this is Matthew 28:19. You're on mute.
Matthew 28:19. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Ghost.
Come, man. I put this, man. This is a part of what they call the Great Commission, right? And he's telling all these people, if you really love him, you want to be a disciple, man. Now it's your job to go out. Now I put this because, bro, the World Cup is in the Americas, bro. And you see, each team has thousands and thousands of fans at these games. What are they doing? They traveling, bro. They're traveling. They done took off of work, bro. Right? Meanwhile, you know, you tell a brother, hey man, we going 2 hours away this week, right? He find every excuse not to show up, not to be able to make it. These folks traveling across countries to show their support, right? And we can't do that for our own nation. We can't do that for our own God, right? It's trash. Deuteronomy 4:9.
Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 9, and it reads, only take heed to thyself and keep thy soul diligently, lest thou forget the things which thine eyes have seen, and lest they depart from thy heart all the days of thy life. But teach them thy sons and thy sons' sons.
Right, man. Just like they doing for the World Cup, man. They teaching that support for their heritage to their sons and their sons' sons. You see little ones in the stand with jerseys on. Little ones, we just seen that little one crying, bro. How does he know to cry for the loss of a soccer game, bro? If it's not being instilled in him to do so. It's the same thing we got to do. It's the same thing we got to do, right? This is First Maccabees chapter 1, starting at verse 13.
First Maccabees 1, starting at 13. Then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Right, man. It gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen. So this precept marks a change in directory in the lesson, right? So we went over how we're supposed to be, but instead, this is how we are, right? Keep reading verse 14.
Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
Now, right, we're into what the heathens are into. You see all these Israelites, like the brother was saying, the Israelites that are in the World Cup right now, right? There's a lot of Jake in the World Cup. Why is that? Because we've been scattered to all these places, man, and we find fascinating what they find fascinating now, right? Instead of putting all that energy into the Most High, into His Word, now we like the heathen. We putting all this energy into a soccer game too, right? Now we crying over soccer too, right? Because we sought to be like them. It gets better though. 2 Maccabees 4:9.
Gone. Besides this, he promised to assign 150 more, if he might have license to set him up a place for exercise, and for the training up of the youth in the fashions of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians.
Right, man. And this just is one example. Them that were named from Jerusalem are now going to be called Antiochians. Now we're called Mexicans, Argentinians,
American.
right? Americans, Peruvians, right? You know, and we go all out for those names that we have assembled to, just like the ones that the Antiochians, right? I'm sure they had great Antiochian pride, you know. And so when you look at this right here, it says the training up of them, of the youth, right? Because that's how they get us even here in America, right? They push all of our young Black and Hispanics to play sports from a very young age, to the point where even our parents are gung-ho about us playing sports, right? Because they think it's going to be our ticket. You go to the hood, man, every parent think their kid going to make it. Every parent, you know, they ready to fight for their kid in the stands, whether they good or bad. You know what I'm saying? You know, the kid make the basketball team, they call everybody in the family. You know what I'm saying? Kid make the baseball team, the soccer team, because you got to think, man, it's deep in Hispanic culture too now, right? And so, like, man, you got to understand that is a tactic that they used even back then to get us from youth to gain the youth interest, right? To determine what our youth were going to be fascinated with, because it's going to take us away from serving our God, right? And that's what it has done. This is Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 32.
Verse 32, Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 32. And that which cometh in your mind shall not be at all, that ye say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone.
Right. We were going to be as the heathens, man, right? As the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone, man. And that's what has happened, man. We're going to be like the people of the countries that we live in. We don't, you know, because the thing that makes Israelites special is that we're different, right? Everybody's supposed to look at us and say that we're different. And we were supposed to like the fact that we were different. But what happened is we got scattered into these nations, and we didn't want to be different. We didn't want people to look at us weird. We didn't want people to look at us and be like, you know, I don't want to hang out with you. You ever went to public school, man, and you looked at them East Indians with the red dot on their forehead, and you kind of looked at them like, yeah, it got weird. You know what I'm saying? That was supposed to be us. But, you know, Jake, man, we can't be looked at as lame or weird. So we had to assimilate. And that's what you see now today. Right? This is Leviticus 20 and 23.
Leviticus 20 and 23, and it reads, and ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them.
Right, man. And this is what happened. The Most High, when we was all together, we was one, right? We was actually one nation, something to be proud of. He cast out many nations from among us, right? But it's like, you know, your kid comes home with, I'm gonna tell you a story. Back, it's a short story. Back when we was kids, you know, we went to a predominantly white public high school, and we had it wasn't even high school, it was elementary school at this time, right? We had a field trip, and we went to a field trip. It was about the Civil War, right? When we got there, they showed us both sides. They showed us the conservative side, right? The Confederate side, and they showed us the other side. I forgot what the other side was called, right? But if you in the South, man, you said what?
The Union.
The Union, right? If you in the South, though, you know about the Confederate flag, right? You know what it looks like, and you know that Black people can't stand it, right? Because you know the racism that comes behind it when people fly that Confederate flag. But we went as elementary kids. I think we was like, what, third grade, fourth grade, something like that. Second grade might have been. And we had no idea what all this was about. And so we just thought it looked cool at the time. So we, you know, you go to field trips, your parents give you a little bit of money so you can spend at the gift shop and all of that stuff. Man, me and Azrael was in there buying up everything that had a Confederate flag on it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is our white teachers, man, they just let us do it too. Man, we come home, bro. We got all this Confederate flag merchandise, bro. Our parents was pissed, man. My parents was pissed, man. Right? You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure my dad, he did everything but cuss out my was it 5th grade or 4th grade?
I think it was second, bro. I ain't gonna lie, because we was in the same class. And 4th and 5th grade, we wasn't in the same class.
No, we was in different classes. We were
together, bro.
We was in different classes because he definitely did everything but cuss out. It was Miss Quisenberry, and he was like, "Why would you let him buy these Confederate gloves?" Because I had bought the Confederate gloves, and I had bought like little cream soda and stuff. So I was piped up. But yeah, we was in separate classes at that time.
Yeah, not to be long-winded about the story, but I bring that story up to say, man, that's how the Most High feels. The way my parents was feeling when we got back, that's how the Most High was feeling, because he has literally taken this stuff away from us, right? When we got home, my parents threw all that stuff away. It would be like our parents got mad, took this stuff from us, threw it away, right? And we went outside to go back and get it and bring it back in the house, right? That's what we're doing to the Most High. He has taken something from amongst us, and we're saying, "Nah, I like that." And we went and got it back and brought it back in the house, right? And that's what we're doing to the Most High, and that's what we got to stop doing, man. We got to stop trying to be like everybody else, man. Got to stop trying to be like everybody else. I guess the last precept right here. Why are we trying to be like everybody else, though? Right? This is why 2 Kings 17 and 15. And brother Azrael.
2 Kings 17 and 15. And they rejected his statutes and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them that they should not do like them.
Right, man, because that's all we're worried about right here, this part right here. And they followed what? Dang, bro, I'm supposed to highlight. There we go. And they follow what? They follow vanity, man. That's the only reason why I want to be like the heathens, right? Because of vanity, because they make it look cool and we want to be like them, right? Everything has to make us feel good and all this stuff. That's why we try to follow after everybody else, right? What does Solomon say though? All is vanity, right? He says the only thing that we should be focusing on is how the glory of the Most High and the mercy that he shows to us on a day-to-day basis. But we're worried about what we can obtain, what looks cool, right? Oh, it looks so cool to be a soccer player, man. If I was a soccer player, I'd get these cleats, right? Oh, that golden trophy looks so sexy, bro. We gotta get that. We follow after vanities, things that don't even matter, bro. And the heathen do such a great job of making these vanities look so appealing that we're willing to ditch, our heritage to be like them. Oh, the Native Americans do what? That's, before we knew the Native Americans was our people for real, right? Back in the day, everybody wanted to say they had some Cherokee in them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fully black, bro. I got some Cherokee in me, right? Because you was looking at vanity stuff, right? They got good hair, right? You like the way they dress. You know what I'm saying? So we got a dude right now, man. He's grown. He grew up in Georgia, right? But he claims the West Coast because he liked the way they dress, the way that they talk, all that stuff. And every time I see him, I say, bro, when you gonna quit pretending, bro? When you gonna quit pretending like we didn't all grow up together in Georgia together? We didn't go, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't see you from elementary school to high school, bro. What's going on? But that's how we are as a people, man, right? We ditch our heritage because it seems boring and it seems centered around the Most High and not us. And we try to go chase vanity to what feels good, what looks good, and something that we can obtain, man. We got to start ditching our vain opinions, our vain thoughts, man. And we got to, take care of home. we gotta keep the main thing, like we always say, man. That's all I got though. Any brothers got anything else?
Man, good lesson. You know what I'm saying? Can't get caught up in the World Cup of confusion, because the world is fighting against the Most High God. The world wants you to be like them. God wants you to be like him. And it's up to you to do your part, you know what I'm saying, to pick the right side to be like.
Right, man. You can't let people, dangle dainties in front of your face, man, to get you sidetracked. Because that's what's happening. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I first of all, side note, I want to say every time brothers be like, any brothers got anything else? We always say, nah, man, I don't got nothing, but then proceeds to say something. You know what
We
I'm
say
saying?
la then go on.
Man, it went on but saying nah, what I was gonna add too is, I'm in 2 Kings right now for my readings, man. And, I just read about, how Elisha, put a curse on a man for pretty much for his seed, him and his children, right, of leprosy, for taking gifts, right? Because what he did was he healed a man, and the man tried to offer him a gift, but Elisha was like, nah, we good. And then the dude went off, and then the servant of Elisha was like, man, why didn't you take that gift, man? I'm finna go run, and that stuff that you threw away, I'm finna go get it out the trash can and bring it back in the house, like the analogy that Brother Denal brought out. And I'm just saying that because that's why the Lord commanded us not to take gifts, man, to the point of, the heathen makes their vanities look so good, and we desire them that we willing to throw away our own for it. We got to just make sure that we focus on the things of the Lord, because in this life, there's a lot of stuff that you shouldn't have, because it'll cause you to turn away, So don't try to be like the world in any shape, form, or fashion, man. I just thought that was a good parallel, though, from my readings this morning, how I seen that and then how it correlates with the lesson. But mighty lesson.
Con, man. One thing I want to say, too, before we get up off of here, too, is the fact that a lot of Israelites will get caught up in that same rat race, right? We've been Israelites for so long, and now we're starting to have kids and stuff. We're gonna get our kids involved with sports and all that stuff, and then off a whim, now this sports thing that we put our kids in has gotten serious, and now it's causing us to stray away from the main thing, which is keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. So now, like, we letting our kids do X, Y, and Z because we believe in them and playing in these sports and all of this stuff. And that's another thing too, that we can get, even being in this truth, we can get caught up in the same dainties that are being dangled in front of everybody here in America. And we got to understand that, man, we got to deny ourselves, right? That's one reason why a lot of people, why the truth doesn't really succeed and it doesn't really get a lot of people, is because we don't really have dainties in the truth like that. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a sports team in the World Cup, right? We don't have an Israelite team in the World Cup. We don't have jerseys that you can go on Nike.com and buy, right? We don't have a seat at the UN, right? The United Nations table. We don't have an Israelite seat at the United Nations. We don't have these things, man. And that's a lot of people come in and they realize we don't have these things, and they feel like something's missing and they leave, right? But we got to understand, man, those things are all corruptible and we're chasing something incorruptible, right? But that's all I got, man. Hopefully we'll be able to see you guys tomorrow for Wisdom Wednesday. Hope this video was edifying. Remember, the Most High God and his son said, if you're not helping to gather, you're helping to scatter, man. So try to help to gather, man. Let's get some more zeal back in our community, some more camaraderie, some more support for each other, because that's going to help gatherers, man. And so we'll see you guys next time. We say shalom, shalom, and shalom.